Boy, hey, tell him. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna do a little episode? Don't push me. Big horse. All right, bud. Hey, babe. I'm gonna start this. Is that cool with you? Let's see who's calling. It's Ben. We gotta call him back. So we're gonna do a short intro here. Hey, bud. Quit looking your nuts. All right, you do that. I'll focus over here. I was gonna have you with you were gonna be in the intro, but you're busy. All right, dudes and you done? Don't you come over here with that mouth right now, bro. All right, dudes and dudettes, we're gonna do an episode. I'm not gonna curse. I'm not gonna curse through this episode. I'm gonna hold that back as much as I possibly can. The lighter words on the curse level, they fly with YouTube, but the F-bomb is a no-go. So I have some videos that I've been waiting to come out, but the more I edit, the harder it is to get them out. So I have some other heavily, now I'm not gonna say heavily edited. We never heavily edit anything that we do. We just clip and put pieces together, but the more I have to shut down the F-bombs, the more is on the file, the longer it takes to upload and all that, especially when we clip and have the intros and all that other good stuff and then the music behind it. So we're gonna be doing flip-flopping. So I'm gonna do episodes where I have to control and watch my mouth so that I don't have to put so many edits in it. And then we'll have other videos where we can have stronger edits in there with a little bit more of a TV feel, I guess, whatever. Not necessarily a TV feel. I suppose I'm not that good. I just clip things together and then put some music behind it. Maybe lower the volume on some. That's about as far as I go for editing. But having said that, we're gonna do an episode, bud. You ball licker. Yeah, buddy. Yep. What are we gonna do an episode today on? And you just licked me with that. Yeah. Let's get into it, boys. Boom. All right, dudes and dudettes. What are we gonna do? Beaded? Beaded? Beaded lizards. Yeah, I feel the same way, bud. Let's do it. Yes, you're so cute. That's a good puppies. Yes, you're just not a lap dog. All right, that's a beautiful face. Thanks for showing us. Sorry. Time beaded lizards, Gila monsters. If you ask me what my favorite reptiles are, it's going to be Gila every single time. This is a bittersweet episode. I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is I have more homies coming home tomorrow. So I got Andrew Gilhooly, who's one of the 20 Andrews over at Wild Florida. He's going to bring some stuff to me tomorrow because he's got to pick up some meds for his green mamba over there. I have those in my freezer. He's going to do me the favor, saves me the trip, and then he can get his meds for his guy. Everybody's taken care of. It's all reciprocal, and it's great because then some of my guys are coming home. Bad news, I just got some of my guys home. So we have the Venomous room set up the way that we need to. So the windows are blocked off. We got the door sweep underneath so nothing can get out. And that's what that's for right there. And then everything is screwed shut. And then the vents are also covered. I just have to cut this extra shit off because it looks like garbage. I said it wasn't gonna curse. Hold it in, guys. Hold it in. The small words fly, the F-bombs don't fly. Like I said, we want to keep that to a minimum. Now, the bad news is this. I just got my beaded lizards back. It's been forever and a day since I've been able to keep any of this stuff. And I just got my pair of beaded lizards back. And I had just set them up. The female did lay eggs this year. not with me, unfortunately enough, and because of the moving and all that stuff, she did have some issues dumping those eggs. She didn't dump them all at once. When we have a lizard like this, the beaded lizards and the Gila monsters usually have 2 to 5 eggs. So you can look in the box now. But the 2 to 5 eggs, look at the size of this lizard. The eggs are coming out like yay big, right? So you got a good size egg, anywhere from 2 to 5. She gave 5. We want to see them nest, and I'll show you guys this later on in life when things get better and easier for me. I'm going to show you how this works. Obviously, this isn't their enclosure. They were supposed to be shipped out yesterday. So a buddy of mine, Rob Fox, thank you, mucho, Rob. I appreciate you. That guy's the bomb. I've known him forever and a day since I used to import and export. He used to get a lot of stuff from me. He's a collector. He takes phenomenal care of his reptiles, and that's where these two are going. And I had to make this difficult decision because financially I had to make ends meet. And then I'm going to give you 2 messages in this video. I'm going to give you those messages at the end of said video. So we have our female here, and she laid those eggs. She didn't lay them all at once, and again, we'll get into that once I get a breeder pair. The good part is that Rob helped me out. I know where they're going. They're going to be in a good place. I don't have to worry about the safety and well-being of these guys because he's going to take great care of them, as he always does. And on top of that, it helped me make ends meet because financially, doing all the work that we're doing, you know, with the build outs and taking care of the animals here and all that good stuff, and the fact that I just got my permits back, things have been a little bit tight as far as financially, so I had to make a decision. And I have some animals that need my attention far more than these guys do. Now, with reptiles, this may cut the crowd right down the center. So with reptiles, they're very intelligent, extremely intelligent, and they do understand what's going on. They understand and they start to learn who their keepers are, and they will build trust with you. They will build, it's hard for me to say a bond. Like, I know when I walk into my alligator and crocodile pits and stuff like that, and when we go to other places, obviously they know who the person is. So if I walked in my alligator pit when we had all the alligators together, it's a much different reaction than I would get than if somebody brand new walked in. So obviously I know that they're smart enough to realize who's there. But the bond that I have with the reptiles is not the same bond they're gonna give me back. I love these guys to death. I would love to say they return the favor, but to me it's more of a working relationship. I'm not gonna hurt you, you don't hurt me. We get to learn that, and we get to working well together. You guys saw Wally. That's a perfect example. Wally is the sweetest alligator on earth. My kids used to hang out with him all the time. When I pick him up, he goes right back to normal, but inside his enclosure, he's jumping, he's snapping, all that stuff, and that's gonna happen for a little while until I get him back on routine. Now, I say that to say this. If I walk into Wally's enclosure and I pick him up, he goes right back to normal Wally. He's very sweet. You guys saw him in the video the other day. If you didn't, go video back. You'll see what I'm talking about. And then, let me tell you this. As sweet as Wally is, if he's lunging at me and I stick my hand in his mouth, he's gonna bite my hand. He's still an alligator, regardless of how much he's known me or how much time I've spent with that animal. So, having said that, the connection with my primates and my mammals is far deeper on both ends than it is with the reptiles. Now, I care about all my animals the same way that I care about any animal on the face of this earth. But having said that, I have a bond, a very strong bond with my primates, my mammals. I can never see myself having, like, I've rescued dogs before and I've had them around for a little bit and then I've put them in different homes. Those are rescue situations. But as far as my dogs, you would have to kill me to get my dogs. You would have to kill me to get my pig. The last landlord, she wanted that pig out, and that pig didn't go anywhere. Nor would I put her anywhere because, well, I'm not doing that. That's my mammal. I raised her from a baby. She is my baby, and she's part of the family. The dogs are part of the family. The primates are part of the family. Basically, in a nutshell, all the reptiles mean a lot to me, a whole lot to me. Like, I love them to death. I will always love them to death, but the connection is not the same. So my primates need me. They don't get along with any other people. They don't like many people, but I raised them. I bottle fed them. I did the whole 9 yards. So the connection is much deeper than it is with the reptiles. These reptiles, once they move to Rob's place, it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. It made me financially whole for the month, I should say. And then on top of that, I don't have to worry about where they're going. So rather than posting them and trying to get the most amount of money out of them possible, what I did was I made a phone call to Robert, and he's been into the Beadeds and he wants more pairs, so it works for the both of us. And he made me a great deal where he gets them for a little bit cheaper, way cheaper than retail, because I just needed to make ends meet. I'm not greedy. I'd rather have my animals in a good place than to give them to a random person that I don't know and make the full amount of money. So we made an agreement where he helped me out, and then he's also going to help me out when she has her eggs, whether it's this year or next year, and he produces babies from her. He's going to send me 1 or 2 of those babies back. So I'll have the bloodline back, I'll have the genetics back. And this is a huge monster of a beaded lizard, and it breaks my soul to have to do what I have to do. But the reason I have to do it is very simple. I have a goal, and with everything that we have going on and not making the money that I used to make at the park, and not being able to consult, not being able to take as many jobs, and then especially just now getting my permit so that I can operate legally without having to bring somebody with me, so now I can advertise more, I can take more jobs, I can do more, but I still have to get all the enclosures set up here at the house. I don't like you guys next to my noose. But I gotta get everything set up at the house. Once I have everything set up at the house, all my primates are home, all my homies are back home, then I can focus on building my reptile collection back. That's the goal, for me at least. I want all my homies home, and then no more mammals for me, because this is the way that I'm gonna put it to you. This is one of the messages that I wanna give to you guys. There is a finite line between rescuing, saving, helping, and or keeping animals, and then also on the other side of that, hoarding, putting animals in danger, and not being able to spend the adequate amount of time with the animals. This last year has been stressful on myself. It's been stressful on all my mammals, primates, the whole 9 yards. So I have to think about what's most important. The reptiles, like I said, they'll get to my buddy's place. Once they get to my buddy's place, these guys will not remember me at all. And even if they do remember me, they're not going to care that I'm not there. As long as there's somebody giving them food, taking care of them properly, they're going to prosper, they're going to live healthy lives. And it would be much different if I were to take my dog that I've raised for however long and then be like, you know what, this is inconvenient, I'm tired of this, this bothers me, that bothers me, whatever it is. Let me go ahead and get rid of this dog. I've never understood, I can never relate with somebody that can have a mammal for so long and then just give it out. And especially one that you've raised, spent time with. It's part of your family. It should be part of your family. That's how you should treat everything. Even these guys, part of the family. It's just different because they don't think I'm part of their family. So when I have my dogs, I'm part of the pack. When I got my pig, I'm part of wherever the hell she is. And when I got my monkeys, I'm part of the troop. And that's how we do things. We put ourselves into it so that we're part of the animal's entire routine. So for this whole last year, bouncing around from here to Chobe to West Palm, back, forth, this, that, the other, to take care of all my homies and try and be as present as humanly possible while trying to be present for my kids and trying to be present for my family and trying to do the work on the house and also trying to build the enclosures and taking care of the reptiles. And here's where the second point comes in. I have reptiles in that garage right now. And although these are my favorite of the reptiles that I have right now, aside from my crocodilians, of course. The reptiles inside the garage are from rescued situations. Some are missing eyeballs. You saw the boa the other day, he's missing half of his face. We have another one that's got bulgy eyes. We have animals there that need help. They need meds, they need medical care, they need proper husbandry, they need to put some weight on, they need treatments, they need a lot of stuff. These guys are perfectly healthy. So best decision I could possibly make was really, really easy to do. And at the same time, extremely difficult to do because of how much I love these guys. So I had just got them set up. They were supposed to be shipped out yesterday, which is why they were in that box right there. The Delta, because you can't ship them FedEx. You're not allowed to ship Venomous Reptiles FedEx for anybody out there, just so that you guys all know you cannot do that. You can focus on the animals, I'll follow them. So you can't do that. It's got to go through Delta and Fort Lauderdale. I drove 2 hours to get these guys out yesterday. And we used to be able to just ship them right out, fill out an air bill. As long as we were packaged properly and labeled properly, we were good to go. Now I have to book that flight online. So there was a good thing and a bad thing. The good part was this guy, you, he shit all over the bag. That's the only time I'm gonna say a curse word right there. He did. So he smoked her. That's why she's still got a little bit of urine on top of her that I tried to clean off earlier on. And then he was covered in poop as well. So it was a blessing in disguise because you have to be careful. When we're shipping these guys, granted these guys on a plane, it's a real quick flight. They get picked up the same day, so they get dropped off the same day and picked up the same day from wherever they're going to. But being double bagged, because I have to put them in 2 bags, and then I gotta put them in a cooler, then I gotta put them in a box, I gotta put heat packs, cryo packs. We'll explain that later on when we do shipping and stuff like that. I'll show you how I ship these guys. We'll do an episode on that so you guys can see what goes on with all that. But being in 2 bags, if he laid one down like he did, then apparently he was holding this one for a while because it was a lot. And then the fear is that if the flight gets delayed, if they get stuck somewhere, any of those situations, they could suffocate inside those bags. So I was very happy when I got back home to see that much crap all over the place because at least it was like a blessing in disguise. The flight didn't work out, but when I got home, I could smell it in the car. So I already knew, but I didn't know it was going to be that much. So I got to get them out of their bags, clean them up. The crappy part is that we're not shipping them out till next Monday, so I'm going to go get the enclosure that was meant for the other one over there. It was supposed to go for the snake with the busted face, which we're going to get into later on. We don't need to talk about that right now. And now I have to drag that enclosure back up here because they can't go anywhere else. This is the Venomous room. There's a reason we do a Venomous room. There's a reason the state has the laws they have. And we have to follow those laws. So I have to bring the enclosure all the way back up here. I have to get them all set up again. I gotta put the lights back on there. I gotta put everything back on there when that enclosure was moving back to the garage so that I could deal with that snake and give that snake a little bit more space. Now, real quick, before we let these guys go, massive warning on this. These are 2 venomous lizards. That guy over there is a gigantic beast of a venomous lizard. So we have our Heloderma, that is the family. So if you go and you look up any animals, you're gonna have kingdom, phylum, you're gonna have class, order, family, sometimes you're gonna have suborder, then you're gonna have the genus and all that nonsense. And basically it all breaks it down as to where they come from, what family they're in, and all that good stuff. And the Heloderma has 2 different species. You have your beaded lizards and you have your Gila monsters. So they get a bad rap because they're venomous. They are extremely dangerous. They do deserve respect, but they shouldn't be feared. And that's the biggest thing with having Gila monster in the name. Doesn't do them any favors. It basically demonizes the lizard. It's not a monster. You can see, and this is where the warning comes into play. Don't pick up, use your tools. For me, my hands are all jacked up. They've been molested by wildlife forever and a day. My fingers don't work very well. If I put big hefty gloves on, it's much more difficult for me to deal with the animals, and then they can whip around, they can grab me by the arm, they can grab me by, Mama, you need to go. Not right now. So, and you see that I keep my kids out of the room when I have stuff like this out, even though they're slow moving, even though I know they're not gonna get to the kids or whatever, you have to pay attention, you have to be safe. So I'll take the risk myself. I don't expect anybody else out there to take any of these risks. This is a stupid risk. Use your gloves, use your tools. You can even use hooks on these guys. You can use your hooks, put 2 hooks on either side, they'll grab onto that, use the 2 hooks, move them to the side, put them in a bin. You never even have to touch the lizard to be able to keep it, enjoy it, care for it, the whole 9 yards. But before I let you guys go, because I'm gonna try and shorten this down, I don't want a huge long episode, I wanna get this out. So I'm gonna teach you guys a couple things. First, Heloderma. So we have Heloderma exasperatum, that's what this species is. It's your Rio Fuerte's beaded lizard. Then we have Heloderma heridium, or Iridium, depending on which site you're looking at. That's a darker species, much more black, less yellow spots and stuff like that. Your Rio Fuerte is a little bit more North Mexico, a little bit more dry, arid, but they can still deal with the humidity. Pretty good. But then as you go down, you have Alvarezi, that's your all black ones, and then the cream of the crop, the Holy Grail. I don't even know if there's any in the States. Your Charles Bogardi. That's the rarest species of beaded lizard, and they're all the way down into Guatemala, and there's not very many numbers. Again, I don't know if there's any in the state. You see, she has that aggressive behavior when I walk up I'm a huge guy walking up to a lizard on the floor, tiny, and she did it before where she opened that mouth and gave me like a little threat display. So what I do, which I don't recommend anybody else do, is I just go really nice and really gentle straight underneath, and then I carry him out, and that's it. And I'm gonna put these guys back in the box so that I can go downstairs, get the enclosure, set them up again, do some extra work, and then these guys are gonna be going to Rob. And thank you again, my buddy. I appreciate you giving them a good home. So this is kind of like a really crappy episode, but again, here's the big message. Do what you can and make sure that you don't tear yourself into a hoarding situation. Now, it's not a hoarding situation really for me, it was more of a financial conundrum, and I had choices to make, and fortunately enough, I have a good friend that was willing to help me out and able to help me out at the time. But if, like, I couldn't do it, like I couldn't sell a dog, especially one that I've had forever. I couldn't get rid of a dog that I've had forever. We had problems with the pig when she got here, being aggressive. She's not aggressive anymore. We worked through those problems. I could never imagine getting rid of her. My primates, like, I'm dying every day, a little bit on the inside. The more they're not here, Maui and Moana should be home tomorrow, hopefully, as long as my buddy, Dr. Shetler. Love you, bud. Hope you're feeling better. He got COVID. And we got to take Maui and Moana to the vet. And then they're going to be back over here. And then soon, hopefully, we'll have the homies back home as well. But I really don't want you climbing on my shoulder or next to my face or next to my jugular or any of my vitals. No deaths have ever been recorded from the venom. I will tell you guys that. But that doesn't mean you can't die from the venom. If you have anaphylactic shock, if you have an adverse reaction to the venom that they have, it's not a very potent venom. It's not a very potent toxin. It's made, the proteins and everything inside that venom is made strictly to cause as much pain as possible. But you will have a lot of swelling. You will have a lot of pain. We're going to talk about that in a bite series video. We're not going to get bit by one. I don't want to get bit by one. I never want to be bit by one ever again. I've been bit by a couple. I've been on the wrong side of a couple of these guys. It is not a fun bite. I will go into detail of what happens on those bites, but you have to be extremely careful because as sweet as he looks, he is still a beaded lizard. So if I stick my finger in his face, I can give you guys all one guess of what you think might happen after that. So if I play with his mouth, if I do all that, if I aggressively grab him up, if I piss him off in any way, shape, or form, he can do some damage, which I've experienced before, and it's about the least fun 12 hours that I think I have ever had. And the best part is, ladies and gentlemen, there is no anti-venom for the species, and even pain meds, any of that stuff. You can go to the hospital all you want and they'll monitor your vitals and you'll sit on a hospital bed. But if you want to get frisky with it and you want to do dumb stuff with the animals that deserve the utmost respect for what they can do, and that's the biggest part of it, ladies and gentlemen, you have to respect for the animals. You have to have respect for the animals for what they can do and what they can be. These are extremely dangerous, but they are gorgeous. They shouldn't be feared, but they should be very, very well respected for what they can do, because there is no anti-venom and there is no saving you from that 12 hours of misery. And when I go into and tell you what happens with it, I promise you won't want to be on the other end of it as well. But the other message, like I said, is basically you got to know what you can and cannot do. Now, I can easily care for these guys along with everybody else. I can put these guys back in the box. I can easily care for these guys along with everybody else here at the house. Unfortunately, we just came into a financial conundrum, and this is what worked out best in the situation. So everybody else is going to stay here. These guys are going to go, and then I'll worry about building a venomous collection, and I'll worry about getting more reptiles and more animals when I'm willing and able to do so without having so much other things to focus on. So this kills two birds with one stone. I know that these guys are going to be cared for. I don't have to worry about these. So morally, I'm clean because I know they're good. It was easier to do that, like I said, than go ahead and post them up, have a random person take them. Maybe I have to do some background. Maybe they won't let me do background and take the cash crop and just get as much money as I possibly could. But it was way easier for me to make a phone call, have my buddy Rob help me out, and I know where they're going. I know they're going to be taken care of. So for that, I'm good. But then also, like, I have to be realistic with what I do. So we have a lot of stuff going on here right now. It's 2 more things that I don't have to worry about caring for right now because we got other things that are going to be coming home, and then we have to build the business from scratch. We have to try and get this channel off the floor once again because we smashed it right back into the floor. Once we had to uplift, we went right back down. We have to try and balance family, animals, the whole 9 yards, and then the other animals we have, like I said, they need time and dedication. With the reptiles, we can kind of set them up, enjoy them, let them do their thing. They don't require as much attention. If you're trying to have a display, you can literally, as long as you're feeding them and your husbandry is good, you're good to go. If the animal's mean, the animal's mean. I don't want to say mean. If the animal's defensive, it's defensive. As long as it's not beating its face up or anything like that and it's comfortable in its enclosure, you can have a reptile and just enjoy the reptile. There's a lot of reptiles I recommend that you don't pick up and handle, like your green tree pythons, a lot of chameleons and things like that, some of the leaf-tailed geckos, some of the more finicky species. That's like a display animal. You keep it healthy, you build a beautiful paludarium, enclosure, whatever it may be, and you just enjoy those animals for what they are. So it's more of a look, not handle, not snuggle. All right, my phone died. I don't have much battery on it, so let me finish this off so I can get this video out. But yeah, in a nutshell, basically what I'm saying is that obviously we love our reptiles, we care for them. We got to make choices sometimes. This was a hard choice, but it's a good choice. It's going to be better in the end. Once I'm all set up and everybody's back home, I can start spreading out. And once the business kicks off, and once we get a little bit more revenue or a little bit more financially stable, like I got to make sure that I can take care of everybody. And because if I can't do that, then I'm not doing a service to the animals, then am I? So I have to dial down what I need to dial down, make sure that everybody's clean, happy, fed, taken care of, get my enclosures built, do all my stuff. So like I was saying, like some of these reptiles, I recommend that you don't even handle. A lot of the venomous stuff you shouldn't handle unless you absolutely have to. This is a little bit different for me. Across the board, I would say, not a good idea. And it just is what it is. So yes, it sucks. Yes, I would much rather have them here considering I've waited so long. And the minute that I set them up was like, it was almost the day afterwards that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have to make a choice here. And I had to make that choice because it was either pay for my insurance and the house or, you know, try and figure it out another way, and there was just no other way. So this was the quickest, easiest way, but it'll also ease up a little bit. I'm sad to see them go, happy to see them go where they're going, happy to get some babies back in the future. Once we're together and everything's set, then we will build off of what we have. But you always just put the animals first. That's all I can say. If you got mammals and stuff like that, you got reptiles, whatever it is that you have, dude, like no matter what you do, no matter what choices you make sure that the choices are always best for your animals. That's why we're so hyper-focused on my mammals and my primates to get them home. I want them back into their routine. I want them to know that they're gonna see me when they see me, and they know, they've figured it out by now, like what's going on, and you know, that they're gonna see me every other day and all that good stuff. And you know, I'm really excited to make that every single day. I'm really excited to get them back here. But it just takes a lot of work, and sometimes I gotta make these decisions because, you know, obviously, like I said, if I'm building enclosures outside, nobody's paying me for that. Like, it is what it is. And then to get videos out, it's been difficult. It's hard to work with the internet. It's hard to work with everything that's going on. So all in all, kind of a sucky episode, kind of a bittersweet episode, but we got some stuff coming in. Dad has been housed over at Wild Florida, so those guys are coming over, like I said. So we got Gilhooly, if I'm even saying that correctly. Sorry, Andrew, if I'm destroying your last name. Don't worry, people do it to me all the time. But at any rate, that's what we got going on. Wanted to give you guys an update. Wanted to do a final episode with these guys. It was nice enjoying you for the whole 8 days of my entire life that I got to spend with you two. I love you to death. Let me go get your big enclosure so I can set you up and enjoy you for one more week. And then off they go. And then when I send these guys out, I'm gonna show you how we ship them, why we ship them the way we do, what the laws are in doing so. And if you're here in Florida, I will walk you through the laws that we have for Venomous, your permit situation, what you're gonna be doing, because you need to keep logs of all that stuff. You need to keep your books together. You need to file that stuff. These animals need to be, you know, you basically have to keep track of where everything's going because the state's gonna wanna know as well. We can't just willy-nilly hand these things out. If you were in the state of Florida and you wanted to purchase these, you would need a permit. So if I was selling this to somebody in Florida, whether I was transporting them or not, the second they leave this room, it still counts. Double bagged, boxed, locked, secured, with Venomous across the top. The species that we have, so we would put 1.1, male and female. That means 1.1 means male, female. If you have 0.0.0, that's unsexed, male and female. So 1.1.1 would mean one unsexed, one male, and one female. That's why we do that. So I would write Venomous, this isn't the box I'm going to use, but Venomous would be across this, and huge danger, Venomous reptiles, 1.1, Heloderma exasperatum, and then the common name underneath that, Rio Fuertes, beaded lizards, and again, the second they leave this room, that applies. So it's not just the shipping, it's as soon as they leave the confines of this room, this is the escape-proof room, like we said. This is why we do the things we do, the door sweep and everything else. Once they leave the confines of this room, all of those laws apply. So you can't take them outside, you can't do all that nonsense or whatever. I'll walk you through all this when we ship them. I'm also gonna show you about your heat packs, your cryo packs, why we use those things, and to pay attention to your hubs and everything else. And then also make sure that where they're going is also legal. Not that it's your responsibility once they leave the state, but you're not doing any favors to these animals if you're just gonna send it out just to get the cash to a state that's illegal, because A, whoever's gonna receive those could get in trouble, or maybe they get away with it, and then they get away with it, they have the animals, they do a disservice to the animals, those animals get confiscated, maybe euthanized, placed somewhere else, whatever it is, you're gonna be doing a bouncing around kind of deal. So always make sure, what I like to do is make sure the other state laws. Now, because I did this for so long, I know what most of the state laws are. I know the no-no states, and I know the states that usually this type of stuff goes to, which is why I have the friends in the other states that I have. So once again, Rob, you're the man. Thank you very much. He'll give us updates, so we'll have updates on these guys. We're gonna see Rob's setup. It's gonna be amazing, because he does amazing setups for everything that he has. The guy breeds a lot of stuff, and soon, hopefully, we'll have Rob come here and spend some time with us. But that's the episode for the day, my dudes and dudettes. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bittersweet, bittersweet, but slow steps, slow and steady. I don't think I cursed.
Not one time. Good job.
I might have cursed once in there. But regardless, we're getting there. But this should be a clean edit. You guys should have this episode today. All right. Boom.